find business, but what else? And then tomorrow, Tanya, you want to talk about your command class?
We are going to look at all the different ways that you can market your listing inside of Command out through our technology. So please join.
Awesome. And then we have a CE class, our Wednesday 12 o'clock CE class. Melanie, you want to tell everyone a little about this week's?
Hi, yes. So we have a great Zip Forms class. So this is going to be to show you all the greatest tips and tricks so that you can save time using Zip Forms by creating templates. Cameron is the new tech guy at Lawyers Title, so we're excited to have him come on and share with us how you can create offers in little as 15 minutes with using these templates and how to integrate DocuSign. So it's going to be a great class. So go ahead and pre-register today. You guys should have an email with the pre-registration link. So, or if you have any trouble, just let me know.
Awesome. Thanks, Melanie. And that's something that a lot of people ask about, right? Like, what are some shortcuts for Zip Forms or DocuSign? So that should be a really good class. And then following that is Chantel's Command Compliance class in DocuSign. So they kind of tie together, but the CE class will be more geared towards tips and things if you're already using Zip Forms and DocuSign. Chantel's will be more of a understanding just the basics of compliance and utilizing DocuSign. So if you're a new agent, both would be great. Or if you are struggling, anyone can join Chantel's class. It doesn't have to just be new agents too. So you can always learn something. All right, Austin, let's throw up the free lead summer, please. Who's been doing free leads? I know some of you guys have been taking advantage of it. I think it's probably changed by now. But I know Bradley said he had like 84 or 86 or something so far, which is awesome. So just a reminder, every week you can do a social media campaign, and you can do Facebook, you can do Instagram if you want through Command in campaigns, and then all you have to do is send your screenshot to Heather, and we'll reimburse you $20 each week. So hopefully this has given people a chance to kind of play around and try different things of, what works and what doesn't.
Yes, it is. It's good. It's fun. Productive.
Awesome. Give us some feedback, Mark.
Oh, Tanya had the numbers. I got 22 leads off of 2 ads.
Heck yeah.
Yep.
That's incredible. Do you have any other stories you want to share?
Most of the ones that I have new are finishing this week, so I won't have them until next week.
Right. Okay, cool. But it's a good chance to try different things, right? Try different images. Okay, what do you get more traction with listings? What about the KW app? What about different photos? So try different things and take advantage of that. We still have a month and a week left of summer. What do we have?
And keep in mind, one of the reasons we're doing this is because there's a reasonable chance that we're going to be shutting down more than we are right now with COVID, and the market harder going into the 3rd and 4th quarter of the year. And so by using these tools today and creating and fine-tuning and honing your ads to figure out what works, that it will benefit you when the market is actually more difficult than it is today. So that's why we're encouraging everyone to do it right now. Learn what ads work, and we're paying for them. So how can it get any easier than that?
Yeah, awesome. So if you haven't gone to Tanya's classes, or if you're in her coaching program, she can help you with that. But also, all of her classes are on our YouTube channel as well as these meetings. So those are great to refer back to because you can follow along, pause it if you need to. So awesome. All right, well, let's get into our meat and potatoes of today. So Austin, you want to throw up our picture? The visual, the box.
Meat and potatoes.
The meat and the potatoes. One time I called it bread and butter, and I joked with Melanie that I messed these up, and I was like, oh wait, no, not the bread and butter, the meat and the potatoes, right? That's the part you want. So today we're going to talk about out of the box ways to get business and to find business. Again, just piggybacking on what Dwight said, we got to find as much business as we can now, right? Take our unfair share while there's a lot out there. So we all know what Sphere, making calls, referrals, a lot of those ways of business. But I want to hear from some different agents about some different things people are doing to get business. So Mark, will you tell us a little bit about your networking groups, please?
Oh, forgot about mute there. Well, obviously many of you know I'm a niche agent. I have been for 13 years. It's what I do. And working in a niche is different than working in mainstream real estate. It's a concerted effort over years. It's not something you just embrace and start, hey, I think I'm going to do this now and it's going to give results in 2 months. It takes time, but there's no time to start like the present. Go ahead and try something. For me, obviously, I'm an avid car enthusiast. I'm a driving instructor. I have my own collection of cars. And along the way, I run a car show every Saturday for 13 years. So again, it's not something that I started lightly. It's basically a part-time job that my wife and I have on the side that I don't get paid for. But it does bear real estate dividends. Obviously, along the way, I do encounter people, folks, clients at that car show that eventually we get into real estate conversations and have transactions. It's part of my life. It's what I do. I'm probably a more extreme example of that than many agents. And yet there are agents who will find an identity and they work that identity. They work with their sphere, but really the people they surround themselves with, it's much easier to have those conversations where you have a shared passion or a shared interest with someone rather than prospecting with, hey, did you like my postcard? Did you like my marketing materials? You should hire me. It's a much easier conversation when you have that warm introduction, that connection already in place. For me, it's a passion about the cars. Maybe they're a Chevy person and I'm a Ford person. That's okay. They're both still really cool cars.
I love it, Mark. Thank you so much for sharing. And today, as I want everyone to collaborate, so if you have any questions or things to chime in, please share. Can anyone think of any other niche groups, or is anyone else part of any other niche groups that they'd want to share? How about like moms groups or like hiking groups? Any of those kinds of activities that you'd like to do. Right.
Yeah, I've had numerous agents ask me about how to build out a niche and what they do. And I've seen some creative ones over the time. There's obviously people who are fellow avid cycling enthusiasts. There was one agent, he created a whole bunch of water bottles for your bike. And he just gave them out in the group that he would go cycle with. And so that was his introduction. Obviously they all had a water bottle with his branding on it. He was already involved in that particular group. And so already those warm introductions. Same thing with those who have there was a new mom who were doing outdoor activities and backpacking and hiking activities. She coordinated a group to do that. It works. Trying to think. There are groups that are out there, but when you're doing this, be a bit more restrictive or a little more focused on it. I had one time an agent go, "Hey, I like cats. I should be a cat niche enthusiast." And I kind of went, well,
Melanie, yeah.
That's possible. And nothing wrong with cats.
Hello, Mark. You got a problem with cats?
No, not at all. I'm allergic to them. That's my only issue is I can't touch the cat and touch my face because then everything goes sideways.
Fire, yeah.
But if you're looking at who you want to interact with, that audience of cat enthusiasts is rather broad.
Right.
Maybe you happen to enjoy, maybe you're part of a Siamese cat rescue group. That brings your focus down. It's much like running a Facebook ad. You can run a Facebook ad to all 2 million people in the Portland metro area. Okay. But if you focus it on those who have a shared interest, a focus of just 2,000 people, and you run that ad to them and they just continually, repeatedly, over and over get that message, they're more likely to be aware of you and reach out to you directly.
Yeah, I think that's good advice. I think with any platform, knowing your audience, right, and targeting your specific audience is really important. So that's really good advice.
That's where you'll get better quality connections.
Great tips. And then any other final tips on how to do that right now in COVID time where you can't physically meet up as often or with as many people as you would ideally like to?
I think it's a fantastic time to be running those Facebook ads on social media and Instagram because, frankly, people are at home. They're on their computer. They're looking for an escape from the jail cell at home, if you will. So running targets in that, and then along with that, and Tanya can talk about this, and she has class tomorrow, you smart plan that the people who engage with those ads that you're running, the smart plan corresponds to the ad. If you're running a brand awareness campaign, have a smart plan that talks about your brand. If you're running an ad for your listing, make sure it's a smart plan that has details about that particular listing. That's how you connect with this audience. Can you still get out and do activities while we're locked down for COVID? Absolutely. You just have to be careful with it. Just don't go overboard like I did on 4th of July. And we kicked off our car show after a 4-month hiatus, and we had 700 cars show up. I had to promptly shut it right back down because it was way too many people.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, but that's great. And then maybe Tanya can add a little bit more about if you're not aware when you're doing these Facebook campaigns, you can't obviously choose ages or sex, things like that would be discriminatory, but you can select people by very specific interests. Can you share some?
Yeah, pretty much you can type in anything, it'll come up. If you're not sure what interest you might want to do, there's a drop down that will provide a bunch of interests for you to choose from. And again, doing it through command versus through Facebook, they've simplified it, made it a lot easier, and then our AI technology helps push the ads out in a better way.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Corinne?
Yes.
Hi. Good
Hey,
morning,
Rob.
everyone.
Happy belated birthday.
Thank you. So basically, I'm a senior specialist, and that's a niche, and I really do, as a lot of people know there, concentrate on that where I live in Summerfield and Tigard. And so really, I'm very fortunate that it says super niche because it's always ongoing, because of the fact that people either pass away, they'll go live with their kids, or they go to independent living. And so there's always, I don't even hardly remember when I haven't had something going on all these years. If I haven't, it's been maybe a month or two. So, but by doing that, this is a little golfing community. So I sponsor some of the golf tournaments here. We, of course, have the client appreciation parties and that kind of thing at the clubhouse when we do have that. And people see me open every weekend when I have listings, and so they see I'm working hard. I get that all the time. If it's not me on that listing, because I maybe have 2 or 3 going at a time, then I've got our team, as you know, some of the agents, and I also lately have been helping some of the new agents where they come and shadow me. So they see that sign all the time, where my other cohorts here in Summerfield, they don't. They hardly have open houses. And so that really, I think, makes a difference too. If you can get in an area where you're doing an open house every weekend, it also brings in the, especially the first open house you have for that weekend. I would in the past, I don't now because of the food, but I would have food and I'd invite that street to the homeowners to come and see how I stage and have lunch with me. And I always get, of course, people coming in down the street, and then they see how I stage, and then they, I get to know them better, and we have like a little party going on. So these are things that you can do, if you really want to. I really think open houses, of course, have been very good to me. I pick up buyers. I'm very fortunate, quite a bit. And so that's the senior niche is a good one niche for me. Like, it's hard for some people, possibly, if you don't live where you are. This makes a difference, I think, where you live, because you're always up there and they can see you. But that's one to consider too. You don't have to live there to go do it either. I know other agents in King City that don't live there that have had a nice niche over there.
That's a good point.
Yes, great point. And it's, you find things you like doing and people you like surrounding yourself. So it makes your work much more enjoyable, right? We have some good ideas from the chat too, moms groups, paddling, sustainability minded groups, knitting and quilting groups from Beth, all great ideas. So think of the things you like to do. Maybe there's a Facebook group for it, targeted in a campaign on social media. But that's, yeah, a great way to be really specific. Even, and Robin brought up a great point of, even if you're doing open houses to get your business, maybe define that a little bit deeper of, is there a specific neighborhood? Is there a specific, you know, like Mark focuses on cars with lots of, or houses with lots of garages for all your cars, right? So how can you kind of hone in on your house, open houses that you choose to do to kind of fit what your perfect clientele would be? So awesome. Let's turn it over to Beth. And Beth, maybe share a little bit more if you get any of that business from the knitting and quilting group, like you commented, but also you do a really good job of just getting involved in your community and volunteering. So maybe you can share with us how that helps you generate business.
Sure, and I put together a slide that Austin has. I also sent Austin some pictures that have disappeared into the black void, so I don't have illustrations this morning. For me, what really, my strong suit is relationship. I'm not good on the phone. I know this about myself. I get on the phone and I turn into a goofball that I don't even recognize sometimes. So it's just, phoning is not my forte. But handwritten notes, I've talked before about doing that. I continue to do that every week. And I got a call yesterday from a client's brother that I've never met that wants me to come list his property next week. And it's because I've sent his sister consistently handwritten notes. I heard kind of via the grapevine that she broke her ankle. And so I sent her a note, gee, I'm sorry that's happened. If you need anything, let me know. And she sent me a text and she said, this is really random, but I don't have anyone that can go to the grocery store for me. If I call and place the order, will you go pick it up and deliver it to me? She couldn't find anybody. So I did, you know, and I think it's a part of being in our community. Not everyone has a small community like I do, but you have a neighborhood that you can connect with people with. So I put on here a number 4. I have 2 Facebook pages. I have 3. I have a business one, but I don't use it for this purpose. And you're welcome to look at my pages, Beth Castor or I Love 3rd Street. 3rd Street is our main street. And I've had this Facebook page for 5 or 6 years. It's puttered along at 500, 600 people. As soon as we went into the first lockdown, I started promoting the businesses that were pivoting, that were doing curbside delivery, that were doing something. And repeatedly I heard from the owners, if I can just make enough money to pay the utilities while we're in lockdown, that's all I'm after. So they would post something, we have hand sanitizer for sale. And then I would repost that on I Love 3rd Street, I Love it, and I reposted on my page. As of yesterday, I think we're up to 3,200 people that have asked to join that page. And so what started happening, I started making masks for my customers that were worried couldn't get them. And instead of taking any money for them, I asked them to pay it forward in the community. Go to a locally owned restaurant, go to a locally owned store. And when you do, post about on Facebook where you were. And that started this whole kind of snowball thing. And businesses would call me and say, or text me and say, you know, we just sold that basket, because they came in and said, we want the basket that Beth said. So I think you have to really understand, as Mark said, people are home. They're on lockdown, and I'm afraid we're going to be back on really strong lockdown pretty soon. So helping them to see different things than what they're seeing that are political or whatever. I don't allow any political posts on my I Love 3rd Street, which is another reason why people love that page. It's positive. There's I don't care what your cause is, it doesn't go on. Then I had some of these masks. This was one of the pictures that you can't see. It says, "Please be kind," with my name on it. We have a local screen printing company. They were really struggling. So I was chatting with her and I said, gosh, wouldn't it be great if you guys could print some masks? And 20 minutes later, I get a text back. She said, I found a source for it. Do you want some masks? So I said, sure. They're cotton, they're high quality, they're $5 a mask, a dozen minimum. I ordered 2 dozen and they were all gone in 2 days. So I have to reorder. And then last week when the governor's order came down about children under 5 having to wear masks or face covering, people were freaking out. And I knew that there were some local companies that were making face masks and they fit children as young as 3. I don't know if you can really see.
Yeah.
So because of my relationship with McMinnville Economic Development Partners, I knew that we had local companies that had shifted what they make into making face guards. So I called, found out who had children's sizes. Turns out this guy wasn't even on my list, but he heard I was asking. They come like this, they ship flat, and he is an IT engineer, had never even thought about this, but he's was in the final stages of some chemo treatment when this all started to happen. And he heard in his doctor's office, heard the front office person calling, trying to find sources for the face shields. So he went back to his lab and he said, I'm an engineer, I ought to be able to do something, and found a source for the plastic, and in 3 days had designed this that prints on his 3D printer. He can do 2,000 a month. They've donated over 10,000 to medical offices in the area. And so here's this amazing story. I got to meet this wonderful person. And when I posted on Facebook that these were available, all of a sudden my phone blew up, his phone blew up. It was like, I want some of those for my kids. I don't want to put a mask on them, but I want a face shield. So I'm happy to share that resource with you. The other thing I think that's really important is for us to be our own morale booster. Certainly I value these meetings that we have. They were really helpful, but this is just a little book. I don't know. It's called 212 Degrees. At 212 degrees, water's hot. At 213 degrees, it boils, which creates steam that can run everything. Steamships, steam engines. It's what our country was built on with those. And so I wanted to read you just one quick quote. Find the time, give the time. Time, money, which is more valuable? Lose them both, which can you get back? In your efforts to be charitable, to contribute to your community, which do you more quickly give, your time or your money? And I get a lot of referrals from my OAR connections. I've volunteered there for a lot of years. I've been on a lot of committees, some really crappy ones. I've done the crappy work and made connections with people all over the state. So they know I'm not afraid to roll up my pants legs and do the work, so to speak. And same way with my local community, wherever you are, you have a neighborhood, maybe it's next door. If there isn't a next door group in your community, start one. If there is one, become active in it. And this is not a passive way to generate business. It's an active way. You have to engage. You can't just be a member of a group and sit there and never contribute. You could probably ask some people that say I over contribute, because if I have an opinion, I'm not afraid to share it. So I'm happy to do that. And make it easy for people to find you. Be consistent. If you are using your name, well, I use Beth Castor Realtor. I have that on all of my messaging, everything, so it's easy to find. And referrals right now, people who want to buy or sell are looking for a familiar face, a trustworthy face. They can go to online any day and find 16 agents. But if they find someone who can talk knowledgeably about their community, this is where our market's moving. These are the kind of listings that are moving. Here's what we need. Here's what the price point is. Here's those things. You don't have to go into great detail at that first meeting, but you have to demonstrate that you are authentic and that you are an expert in your area. And the other thing I would say about that, taking a listing, the first thing I talk about is, let's talk about COVID. What concerns you about showing your home? And address that up front. I'm getting a listing next week. I was one of 3 agents. I was the only one that talked about COVID and what we will do to keep their home safe. And that's how I'm getting that listing. So my main thing is be consistent, be authentic, guard your reputation above all else. If you say you're going to do something, do it. And if you can't do it, say, I'm sorry, I can't do that, and here's why. And beyond that, that's how you build.
So many great nuggets of good in there, Beth. And I just love how you build your business on giving back and doing things for the community, so your heart feels good in the end. And I just want to make sure everyone caught that her Facebook group, the I Love 3rd Street, isn't like a real estate Facebook group. It's not like promoting yourself. It's for the community, and it just gives her that presence and that credibility within her community. So Beth is down in McMinnville, Yamhill County. I know Tracy commented that she's in some Lake Oswego groups. So whatever community you're in, how can you give back within that community? And then in doing so, you know, hopefully meet more people and have more good conversations. So such good information, Beth. I love it. Thank you so much. And if anyone else wants to add anything about, you know, how they give back in their community or anything, or have something else to share, please chime in, write in the chat. We want to really have this be an open discussion. Let's talk about another creative way to get more business, you know, other than your traditional routes. And we have the lovely Kylie from Fox Group on. Thanks for joining us.
I know, it's so weird. I never get on these meetings.
I know, you should more often, right? Leave your Fox den.
Nice to see everyone.
So Kylie, you're in your first full year, is that right?
Sorry, well, I missed that.
Is this your first full year in real estate?
Correct. Yeah, I got licensed last May, started in like June. So yeah, just a little bit over a year now.
Oh my gosh, you're doing incredible.
Thank you. I love it.
So share with us what you've done recently. We just noticed that you've turned in a couple referrals lately. So tell us about those.
Yeah, I'll tell you guys a little bit about the stories maybe behind those and how they've transpired. One thing, it's not really been a focus of mine to like get referral business. I was kind of curious on when that would maybe start happening, just me being newer to the business. But I think one thing that's helped me tremendously is I didn't really use social media. We all know that's a big deal now, but I didn't really use social media much before I got into real estate. And now I've found it to be crucial because I've actually had several people in my sphere reach out to me since now that I've been posting about real estate stuff. So a few of those referral opportunities recently have just come from people seeing me out there and like I'm having closings and seeing my success, and just I think it's so important to stay top of mind with all the people that you know as much as possible. I think one thing that is really, really important is someone might know each of you, but they think you probably just work in a specific area. It's like we were just talking about Beth, like you're in McMinnville and whatever, but like you have so many connections in different states and all around, like we're part of the biggest, real estate company. So I think it's important that anyone that you know, whether it's Sphere, your past clients, like all of them, to let them know, hey, even if I can't help you directly here, I would love to connect you with someone that I know will take care of you at a high level. They have, they're coming to us because they trust us and they want to work with us. And so I'm sure that they would trust us connecting them with someone that will provide that similar level of just knowledge, trust, support, same resources. Like Keller Williams is a big company. So I feel like I trust anyone I really connect them with. But last month I had 3 referrals closed from people in my sphere. And it was literally people that are friends of mine that I haven't really stayed in touch with as much so, but they're like, oh my gosh, you've been doing so well. Like, I'd love to work with you. And those 3 were actually up in Vancouver, and our Fox Real Estate Group team has a whole group up there in Vancouver. So thankfully I could support or refer them to someone up there that I know has that same level of support and training and everything. So yeah, 3 of those closed last month, 2 buy opportunities and 1 sale. And they were obviously bummed because they wanted to work with me directly, but they also were like, we still want to support you and I get to get compensated for this. And people that care about us, they're happy about that because like, we still want to support you. And so I think that's really nice. And we kind of call it mailbox money here because it's like, you don't really do anything. You just like took a phone call and it's really easy money. But it's also, a big thing that we can leverage. And it's just interesting because I haven't even really focused on it. It's just stuff that's just kind of happened, but it has paid off just from social media and staying top of mind and that kind of stuff. And one thing, so I have 3 more referrals closing this month. Well, I guess they went into escrow this month, so probably closing next month. But like those ones were a little bit more unique. One was a past client that their parents are moving to Newburgh and they're moving from California. And so I think it's so important once you have any inkling of like, ooh, I have an opportunity and like, do they need to sell? Obviously, we always find that out first. I focus on the buy side. So I was like, hey, I'd love to connect them with a great agent right away. And so I think it's important to just communicate, follow up, be on top of it so that you don't miss time of them going to an open house and meeting someone else in California that could help them or whatever. So I initially just got the ball rolling. I was like, hey, I have a great agent in Sacramento, Candace, she'll take great care of you. And then they trusted that, and it just makes the process go way smoother when I'm going to be handling their purchase up here, knowing that I have someone down there that I work with really well, and it'll make it a smooth and seamless process. Another one I referred to Eugene. They're actually moving here to Beaverton. So they're all kind of ones I'm still involved with, these couple of that have transpired. And then the last one, I'm forgetting where the last one came from. But anyways, I have had a lot of just referral opportunities come to fruition. And I think it's just important that you let people know that we can connect them with people, because so many don't know. They're just like, oh, Kylie works in Portland metro area. Like, even though I know she's in real estate, she probably can't help me. So I think it's just important to make sure you relay that to those that are close to you and people that you've worked with. And yeah.
That's so, yeah, it's so great.
Here, I feel like I'm just going on.
No, those are great. And especially, you say that they just kind of we're coming in naturally, but you do a really good job of consistently staying top of mind in social media. And, look, I sold a house here. But you have to do that, right? With your friends to stay fresh in their mind. And you do a really good job of that consistently, which I think a lot of people post here, post there, go to. So you do a really good job of that. And then maybe you could share a little bit, what were the conversations that you had with the people as far as the value, and do you share with them that it helps you? What does that conversation look like?
Yeah, that's a good question. you know, they do ask like, well, hey, are you still going to be involved at all? Because that's one thing. They're like, they came to me because they want to work with me. But I say, hey, I'm still going to stay in the loop. But I also know that Luke up in Vancouver is going to take amazing care of you. And I don't want to be too involved so that we're making it more complicated. But I did tell my clients like, hey, I will be, you know, compensated, because especially my friends up there were curious of like, can you still get compensated for this, or else we could just find someone else, you know, up in Vancouver. And I said, no, I do get compensated for this. Plus I have full trust that like who I'm connecting with is going to do an amazing job of taking care of you. So I just kind of have that conversation up front. And I guess a couple of the other ones that have come to fruition, one had a friend in Eugene that they were going to use. And I said, hey, I totally understand that you would love to support your friend and that relationship, but sometimes it's best to keep that separate too. And so and then I told them, you know, it would just be a smoother process knowing that I'm working with someone that I've worked with before who's handling your sale while we're, you know, going to be handling the purchase here. So I think as long as you just relay to them expectations up front and what it's going to look like. And I mean, all these referral situations have kind of been different, but I think it's just important that they clearly know what it means when I'm connecting with someone and how that's going to go. And also that I still get a little piece of that, and because that's what they want. I mean, so yeah.
Yeah, I think sometimes people are hesitant to say that, but
I know, yeah.
Peter wants to support you, right? So
yeah.
sharing that is a really good idea to help them understand that it's important to you.
Yeah.
And then I love that you called it mailbox money. That's great.
That's what our team calls it. I don't know.
I would put more like sprinkles on top if I was just going to make up something.
I know.
Because you still got to do your base business, right? You can't just I mean, I guess you could just do that, but you got to do your base business. And these are all just sprinkles on top because they don't take a lot of time, right?
No, they don't. I obviously like to stay in the loop and like, you know when they get an accepted offer and when's the closing, just so I have an idea in my mind of, okay, when am I supposed to expect receiving this check? And I always like to send my clients, you know, a gift for that opportunity because they didn't have to reach out to me. I mean, they could have easily found someone else that was in their area or whatever. So
Hey,
I'm always
guys,
extremely grateful and want to make sure people know I'm thankful for that. And what?
I'd like to add something. Just listening to you makes me think of something that I learned early on when I came to KW that Gary Keller said, and that is that people don't necessarily hire you, they hire what you represent.
Exactly.
And
Yep.
so you're speaking to that just in the way you're talking to your clients and you're referring them, right? So they feel good because they know that if you're handing them off to someone, that you're approving that handoff and that they're going to be taken care of the way they would be taken care of if they're working directly with you.
Exactly. Yep. And I think that's what they're usually most concerned about is like, they know how I operate or just see the success that I'm having. And they're like, oh, I want to have that same like experience. But when I kind of relate to them that it will be handled, you know, is similar. Obviously we're all different and we all, you know, have different personalities and maybe a little bit of a different way we go about things. But I think as long as they know it'll be similar and just trusting the fact that I had connected with someone that will take good care of them is what matters most. And so, yeah.
Wonderful, Kylie. Well, thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah, hopefully it was helpful.
Yes, I love that you even said you have 3 more.
I know.
I mean,
Yeah.
keep going and you can just keep getting those extra sprinkles because right now, like we were saying at the
Yeah.
beginning, we all got to get our unfair share of business now. So even if, you know.
Exactly.
you can
Yeah,
get-
it's just bizarre how they've come to fruition too. Cause like I said, like when you had asked me to do this, I was like, oh my gosh, like I haven't really been doing anything specifically to focus on getting referral business, but it's just like some of the things that I've done, you know, with the social media and just staying top of mind with people is what's caused it all to unravel. So that's kind of, it's cool. I'm not like intentionally seeking out, trying to get, you know, referrals and whatnot, but
yeah, it's staying top of mind. So great job.
yeah.
And then in regards to the referrals, you can go on command and look at all the referral the agents in KW that's available in the area that your people are at or moving to. Then Facebook stalk them, internet stalk them, find out if they do business the way you do, have a conversation with them to make sure you're sending them to the right person.
Exactly. Yeah, and I usually interview, like I've sent some to people that, because we obviously have expansion teams, and I've been, luckily, some of the recent ones have literally, we've had people in those areas to connect with, which has been amazing. But I have had a couple that I've referred to, like Nevada, which we don't have anyone there. So I did do some due diligence of like, research and having the phone conversations to see if I think that person would be a good fit. So that's really important. But it's nice that we have that resource and command to do that.
Yeah, I would add to that too. We just recently closed a transaction in Houston and then one in San Antonio. I've got to find a broker for a couple that I have a home listed right now that are moving to Arizona. We just got a referral, which I mentioned on a call a few weeks ago, from one of the brokers up in Spokane for 2 commercial buildings. So I know our commercial guys are going after those listings, and they'll probably be around 3 million. And so the KW network works really, really well. You just have to have it top of mind, right? So you have to remember that you can find someone in every community that someone's going to, everywhere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and if you haven't messed around a lot in referrals on command, you can sort by, productions, teams, length, the time, so you can find someone kind of similar to yourself if they like working with you, and you can really do your due diligence to find the right person. And then the other thing is you're putting all those out, right? So next time that person in Nevada has someone moving to Portland, because a lot of people do move to Portland from everywhere, you'll be the person they think of, right? So you're kind of putting that out there too. So hopefully. Thank you, Kylie. We love it.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, so next good idea, we have our wonderful friend Dennis Catone from Ticor Title on. And the title companies can help you with a lot of different things as far as creative lists and things like that they could pull for you. So Dennis, why don't you introduce yourself, because we do have some new agents on, and tell us a little bit more about what kind of lists and things you can do to help agents creatively.
Absolutely. Thank you for allowing me to be here today. I recognize a lot of faces here, and I've met with a bunch of new agents here as well. So some of this might be regurgitated information, but I'm going to jump around. I took some notes as I was looking through here. First, kind of speaking more to new agents, getting business. First thing I would do is send your sphere of influence a letter letting them know that you're in the industry. 6 months as you're in the business, I would send another letter out. Hey, I'm halfway through my first year. Here's what's happened. Here's what's going on, and let them know. They're going to know you're a new agent anyway. Just keep up with them, and then at that first year, send out another celebration letter saying, hey, I made it past my first year in the real estate business. I would really love to earn your business at this point, because unless they're going to use you in the beginning, you want to just keep in contact with them. So I've had some agents that have done that, have had some good success in just keeping their sphere of influence updated as far as your new journey in the real estate business. I'll jump around a little bit, but I liked what Robin had said. She's had a lot of success, and hey, Robin, she's had a lot of success with open houses. And I would suggest, and Ticor, we're part of the Fidelity brand. So if you're with Lawyers Chicago, Ticor, Fidelity, we have a cost calculator. And I really like using this tool because, first of all, it's the best cost calculator that we have out in the nation, because it comes built in with infographics that you can brand yourself with your information, not the title company's information, but your picture, your branding on it. And I really like pairing that with what Robin said and using it for open houses. And how do we do that? Simply, when people are coming in, you have the people that are just looking. They might not have the answers for what they're looking for. They might not even be pre-approved, but you can talk to them and build rapport with them. And maybe they only know, hey, we can only afford $2,200 a month. The app's gonna let you say, okay, well, you're looking at this price point on a house. It's gonna be a little bit vague, but it's gonna kind of guide them in a little bit of a direction. But what's good about it as well is with the infographics, you could send them a walkability on every neighborhood. So if they're looking for, a neighborhood that's more convenient to walk or to drive or wherever that may be, or they want an area with, amazing internet speed or places that are close to the hospitals, you can send those infographics to them instantly. And what a great way when they leave your open house, when they go to the next one, just let them know, hey, send me the address of your next location. I'll be happy to send you a walkability report for that neighborhood as well. So when they go to the next house, instantly they're going to have it right to their phone or email. And now you're building rapport with them. You're seeing what kind of houses they're actually looking at. Maybe they're only looking at single level houses and they all happen to be 3 bedrooms. So now you already know what they're looking at before you even talk to them. Plus, when they go to the next open house, how cool is it that they can say, you know what, I'm kind of working with someone already. So you're already building that foundation to grow business with them. That's kind of what I took away from what Robin had said. Beth mentioned the 212 book. I love that book. Read it a couple times. She talked about COVID as well. Just a little plug here. If you guys need open house baskets, we do gloves, we do the booties, and we're doing the hand sanitation, the little liquid sanitation. So we're happy to help out with COVID and do the signs for that as well. And that is a very important part, just to kind of list, you know, what we're doing to make sure that we're staying safe. But I would say reviewing your MLS daily. Tom Ferry came out with a report that first 9 weeks of COVID, half agents in the United States weren't even checking the MLS. So you got to know what's going on in the market. And then you got to plan. What's going to be your goal? Is it to book 2 appointments a day? How's that going to look as far as how many calls you're going to make? And if you're going to book 2 appointments a day, that means you should technically, in time, start going on 2 appointments a day and commit to that. How can we help with that? Farming's a great way. Title companies, no matter who you're working for or working with, they should be sending you a non-owner occupied. It's a great way. Interest rates are ridiculously low right now. What a great way to reach out to your farming area to go over that. And that's something I can talk to you more individual about, or you can talk to your rep about. Non-owner occupied farming has been phenomenal. I'm a huge fan of cold calling, working your sphere of influence. And I would suggest, can I get on the screen? I don't know if everyone's familiar with Altos reports. Can I share my screen, Corinne?
Dwight loves the Altos report, so we do talk about the Altos report.
Can you guys see this? Okay, so if you're not familiar with this, I'd be happy to go over this with you, but we can target these for the areas you're farming based off the zip code. If you do the online version, it's very interactive. If you print it out, this is a great thing to take to your open house. This is a great thing to take to a listing presentation and just to mail out to your clients. I would suggest whatever your sphere of influence is, whatever your client list is, whether it's 300 people or say it's 1,000 people, send them this, let them know what's happening in their market, and then offer them a free market evaluation. Set that appointment. We're trying to set 2 appointments a day. Set that appointment with them. Hey, I would love to spend 10 minutes, 15 minutes on Zoom just talking about what is your house worth? What does it look like? And then go from there, you know, to get them to see if they'd be willing to move or buy or know someone that's in the market as well.
Dennis, this is really good, and especially how we were talking about, you know, networking and niche groups and community and getting involved. You need to be knowledgeable, especially of that smaller community that you're in. So if people ask you, you know, how's the market? How fast are houses selling? What's going on? You can respond intelligently and actually get those conversations going. So especially if you have a smaller community that you're targeting, you should definitely be aware of what's going on.
Absolutely, absolutely. And if you want to get set up for these, I'm happy to set that up. If you're working with another title company, I totally respect that, but I would encourage you to connect with me as well. If I can help you to get 5, 10 more transactions a year, I would think you'd want to partner with us as well. But regardless, you know, get these reports, get to know them. If you need help with reading them and how they all work and the interactive parts of it, more than happy to help you out with that. But these are such amazing things just to send out with your general emails, follow-up calls, and clients. The other part I would talk about too, as far as gaining business, would be the social media aspect. And Kylie, I see you on the stories often, all the time. At my next open house, and she does a great job at that. Kylie, we have a mutual friend, actually. We were talking about that the other day, and so she wished you well. So just know that. But social media is a huge thing. I'm a huge proponent of it. I'm a huge proponent of Instagram. And I won't go into too much detail on that, but I do know agents here in the Portland area that are getting 6, 7, 8 listings a year from that, and that's free. So that's something you're not even having to buy into. And then I know agents as well that are getting handfuls of buyers. So it's all based on how you're leveraging your Instagram. And if you'd like help with that, we can definitely help you out. Your title rep should be able to help you out with that as well. Ticor is offering a social media audit. So if you're interested, I would set you up with Ryan Jacobson. He was with RMLS for 5 years. He is now with us, and he's actually going to stalk you on every social media aspect you can, online, Google, Facebook, Instagram, and just kind of see how easily are you to be found, and then kind of give you a report back on, hey, your everything looks great, or these are some suggested things that we can do. But you know, my tips, definitely the MLS every day. You got to know what's going on, the market reports, and then working your sphere. And then I'm a huge proponent of cold call, send an email, send a thank you card, and then figure out what the other touches are going to be. 10 touches for each person over the course of 6 months, and you know, that business will start coming for sure.
Thank you so much, Dennis. And if you want to get set up on the Altos reports and you are not set up, reach out to Dennis. Dennis, maybe you can pop your contact info into the chat for those who don't have it.
Absolutely.
And then just a reminder that our title friends have all the access to the lists, right? They can get you the list of the non-owner occupied. So that's like the renters with both addresses, the owner's address and the renter's address. They can get you, you know, who's lived in houses for a certain length of time, you know, certain price ranges, certain neighborhoods, all of that, you know. So let's use our data from our title friends. If there's anything creative you want to be pulling or lists or areas, Dennis can definitely help you out.
So Corinne, it's Robin. I want to let the newer agents know, or anyone, I have a binder that I've over all these years that by vendor and services, by category. And if anyone wants to call me or email, text me, you know, if they need anything, I usually can give them a couple of names of different services. Another thing I put together that's helpful for buyers and sellers is I put together consignment donation services, furniture pickup, flyer. It has like Junket Store, Junk Busters, Junk King, Salvation Army, you know, that kind of thing on it. And also a flyer on estate sales information. I've got 5 great referral people that work with here in Summerfield and other areas. And those are great to give. I give them out sometimes at my open houses, or I'll say, I have this I can send to you, especially the neighbors, because, you know, when they move or whatever, they're going to need estate sale people. And this is just a good thing. And then they keep them, again, top of mind, because Cricket and our name is on that. And I put that together a couple of years ago. Very helpful. And then I also we also send out a bi-monthly magazine to, I call them my cheerleaders, and of about 150 and past clients, and once a month newsletter that's very reasonable. And I get, and my return rate on that, ROI on that, people open it up 5-10 times a month. So, you know, they're going there, and it's great information. So those are the kind of things I've been doing lately too.
Oh, thank you, Robin. So yeah, reach out to Robin if you want some of those resources. Robin is a legend and always willing to share. So we have a few minutes left. Dwight, you have any good ideas for creative ways to get business?
Gosh, we've covered so much territory.
I know.
I think the only thing that I would suggest is, you know, the temptation right now is to take some time off and try and coast a little bit. That's the Oregon temptation, because this is such beautiful weather. But you also have to keep in mind that we need momentum going in. You need momentum going into the winter. And so, again, this is why we're doing the free leads. This is why we're having this topic today, to try and figure out what your sources of leads can be and how to work them. And this is the time to start implementing these activities right now, so that as we go back into the winter and we have, you know, new COVID issues, new business issues, new economic issues, you're absolutely top of mind with your network, with your friends, whatever it is, your group. So go for it. This is the time.
Yes, so good. Such great advice today. And it's not to say to forget about your traditional business. I asked Peter and Alex, you know, what they do that's creative, and Alex said, no, we just do all the traditional things, calling, open houses, and that's great. Those are all great too. Peter, you have anything to add? Oh, nope. But so these are all just different ways to add some extra business. So hopefully everyone got a takeaway. Before we wrap up, just a couple housekeeping things. everyone will be receiving from Keller Williams International, everyone in our entire company, a survey that's coming out. And it's going to be on the diversity, equity, and inclusion. And it's just to gain understanding of people's experiences, where people are at, so that as a company, we can see what we can do to do better. So watch for that. I believe it's anonymous. It will confirm when you get it, but you know, feedback, questions, comments, experiences are all welcome. Also, within our office, we have the diversity, equity, and inclusion box set up in the kitchen. So if you have any questions, if you have any ideas, experiences, or thoughts that you want to share with the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee, those go straight there to Connie and everyone else on the committee. So feel free to drop anything in there if you'd like. And then lastly, we have Bold Pivot again starting next week. So this is the second round. And so some of you that did it last time, it was the first time that they did the virtual experience, right? So there, you know, there were some good things that people gave that as feedback of things that maybe to change this next time. So they really took that into account. They're going to get more guest speakers and cameos from different agents. There's going to be, you know, some more content. There was a lot of motivational components in the first round, but people had asked for some just more meaty content, more scripting and role plays, and some more structured accountability. I know a lot of people that did it had their just accountability partner, but there'll be some more structured accountability built into the program. So that starts next week. It's $99. The regular Bold experience is $7.99. So this is the online version right now, and it's very interactive. It should be scripts of the moment. So for our market for COVID. And if you are interested in that or have more questions about that, reach out to Melanie. Melanie, do you want to add anything?
Yeah, let's see here. I do. So they have the class kind of list up, and I'll share that out with everyone. So they have that ready to go, and it's looking really great. Also, just kind of to let you know, we had some really great results. Let me see if I can just share my screen really quick. Actually, I'm not going to do that. So we had some really great results from last Bold. 46%, so the people that were in Bold had 46% more contacts added to command, 39% more opportunities created, 79% more smart plans created, 133% more campaigns created, 9% more contracts written, and 14% more listings taken. So it's definitely a huge benefit to this course. You're getting up to the moment, relevant scripts that you can use in your business today to talk to, you know, your clients today. So I would highly encourage everyone to go online and register. If you do need any help or have any more questions with that, please let me know. Can also put you in touch with someone who's been through the program if you really just want to understand more about it. So yeah, it's really great.
Awesome. Thank you, Melanie. And then it starts next week, and it's a 4-week program. And so, yeah, reach out to Melanie for all the details, and we'll post it on our Facebook group if you have any questions. But otherwise, thank you, everyone, for a great meeting and for everyone who contributed.
Can I say one more thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, about KWPP Cares. I just want to thank those that have stepped up to the plate there in the last month, and we're getting more in all the time. Also, there's going to be, I just want to remind you, those that haven't had a chance, I'll be sending out another email with the form, and the forms will be all in your boxes if you do come in, so that you don't have to print those out either. But thank you so far. It's starting to pick up, and that's great. All right.
Thank you, Robin.
Thanks, Robin. Everyone stay cool out there.